Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Murdered Soul Suspect. Last time we finished up in the museum and we were heading off to the church. However, I have decided that I think I would like to do all of the remaining Salem collectibles in this video. And another thing I want to kind of correct myself on is that the museum is an area that you can go back into. If I were to try to go back into the museum right now, I could go back there and that would allow me to go and collect most of the collectibles if I had missed any, with the exception of that area with the train, and I pointed that out in the last video, so I'm not going to zone in and show you guys where that is, but I did kind of say when we went into the museum, I hung a big warning above your heads that it's missable, 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 and you can't go back once you've entered it, and that's only half true. It is still a good idea to get all your collectibles while you're there the first time, especially because there are a couple that you can never go back for, even if you can go back into the museum, and there will be a point where you won't be able to go back into the museum at all, and when that time comes, I will definitely tell you guys. But we did get all the collectibles in there, so I'm not too worried about it right now. Second thing I want to say before I start off getting collectibles is that I'm doing this just in an order that I sort of formulated in my head, and it's not the most organized of orders, so what I will do is I will put a link probably in the video description or in one of the comments that I will pin to a collectible guide that I have used for all of my playthroughs of this game, but I didn't want to just copy that video. That doesn't really feel right to me, and I have a pretty good idea of where most of the collectibles are anyways. We're just going to do a bit of different routing, and my video will look different from their video, keeping in mind, of course, that we also grabbed a lot of collectibles in Salem already. A couple good examples is that I grabbed everything here that's outside the museum. So I grabbed this drawing and I used my teleporting abilities to get behind that train car and grab some collectibles that were through there. So we're just going to start from the museum. And when I get out into the street, I have two options. I can turn left, going past the gas station and looping around, or I can go straight through the police station. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go left through the gas station, and we will eventually loop our way back around towards the police station and do a complete loop around Salem. So here we go. Starting at the gas station here, we're gonna go left. Into this alleyway here is a plaque. And then, of course, on the other side of this fence was the area that we had teleported into to grab a collectible and a drawing earlier. We're going to continue down the street. And I don't think there's anything in this corner because I already grabbed the drawing that was on that wall. So we're going to go towards the couple over here sitting on the picnic table, and in the very corner there is the collectible for the town of Salem. So these are gas cans, and there are 16 of those in total. We're going to go through the burning building, and we are going to hang a left, and this brings us back to the psychiatric hospital. I got most of the collectibles around here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a right into the bushes, and there is another one of our collectibles for the Eternal Flame story. I did mention this when we were entering the asylum earlier, but I wanted to wait simply because I want to do them all in one video. And of course there was a collectible here that we grabbed. We grabbed the drawing, we grabbed the bell symbol. So we grabbed all of those things with no problems. And then just as an example, if you want to kind of see where you are, this loops right back around to where we started. So now that we have hit a dead end with the psychiatric hospital, we can hang a right, and in the alleyway where this taxi cab is, there is a collectible that we can grab if we reveal this ramp and head on up the ghost stairs. Now, fun fact, when I was playing this game on my own, just recently, the last time I played it, just to do a little bit of practice on a different console, this was the only collectible that I missed. Every other one I was able to kind of find on my own, and that was the only one I needed to actually look at the guide for, double back, and figure out what I had missed. So now we are by a bistro sign here. So from here we will head straight. You can use your teleporting ability to phase into these houses here, but there's actually nothing in here, and there's nothing in that dead-end corner either. So let's keep going through the burning ghost buildings here. There was a collectible here that we had picked up earlier. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal another staircase. I'm going to walk up it. And I'm going to remove this wall and use my teleporting ability to go over here and grab another one of our Eternal Flame collectibles. Jumping down and looping back around, I'm then going to teleport inside this structure, directly across from where we climbed up the stairs. And there is a collectible here on the ground, another one of Julia's thoughts. Continuing on, that's all there was for collectibles here. We are in a playground now, and this is nearby to the church. Or not the church, sorry, this is the cemetery. We're heading to the church. This is the cemetery. I'm going to teleport through this wall right next to the cemetery entrance, and I'm going to pick up another one of our Eternal Flame collectibles. Now again, I did mention this when we were in the area. You can pick that up as soon as you leave the cemetery with your teleporting ability, but I wanted to make sure that I grabbed everything all in one video. I think what I'll do is I will head left. There was a collectible here that I grabbed earlier. And I need to get into this gated area and possess that cat to get some collectibles. But what I'm going to do instead is head left through the bushes, because there is a drawing here that we had collected earlier, but there's also another drawing nearby that I forgot to grab alongside another collectible. So I'm going to go pretty much straight across to this glowing collectible that's in the corner. This is another one of our Eternal Flame collectibles. And then on the wall, on this building, there should be another drawing.
Such a harsh refining.
There's only 2 more of those in town. In this same fenced off area, there is a newspaper in the corner. That's another collectible. We are now in a park. And there's a couple of collectibles here that we also passed by and didn't collect when we had seen them in the background. So let's go ahead and grab those. Another one of Julia's thoughts. And if this is all looking familiar to you, this is right by the apartment building where we started our investigation. So before I actually head on towards the police station and loop back around, there are a few things that I want to grab. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to reveal this figure that's in the street.
I did this. I talked him into this. Becoming a cop. I was lying dead in the street because of me.
And that is the second of Rex's collectibles, so once we finish that, we will get an achievement. And then finally, I just have to backtrack to that fenced off area I mentioned but didn't go into. I opted to go into the side of that building instead But there are collectibles that I need to grab in this area here. And we can do that by possessing the cat. So there's one collectible on each one of these little rafters, and you can get to each side by doing a different series of jumps. So let's go over to this side first and grab this collectible. Now they're both going to be Eternal Flame collectibles, I do believe. Remembering, of course, that when we control the cat, we are still able to reveal and collect things, which is pretty cool. Hop back down and then just simply go across to the other side and then collect the other one. So there we are. I'm going to try and get down here and then we can dispossess the cat and move on. If I go through this alley, it should bring us back into the street. And we'll go back to the figure of Baxter here just for reference. So now that we are back in front of the apartment and the street that pretty much started it all, I think our body was laying here by all this broken glass, we can turn to our right and see a gate which we can walk through, and we can get a bunch of collectibles here as well. So we have a couple of options. We can go left, we can go straight, or we can go right. I'm going to go right, and I'm going to remove all of these barrels. Directly in front of me is a collectible. Heading on through the alley now. I'm going to keep heading straight and phase through another fence. Now this is the playground where we had chased the ghost girl in the very beginning of the game and got the game's tutorial, so we've actually kind of come back to where the game started, which is pretty interesting. There is a note there about our killer in that corner, and then in this corner there is another note. In the alley here, we can reveal this, which is another one of Ronan's Review My Life collectibles.
All those street brawls. It's amazing I lived as long as I did.
And that is actually the final one of Ronan's memories. So that is another set of collectibles finished, which is great. Now, if you follow the alley to this sign here that says "This way to street," there is a collectible tucked in the corner here, which is another Bell Killer collectible. And there's this gate here. Now, even though we have the remove ability, and even though this gate is shaking, for some reason, it seems to be bugged. I can never, ever, ever seem to remove this gate, and it drives me crazy. So that just acts as a shortcut to get out of here. That's all of the collectibles in the alley. I'm pretty sure I've gotten them all and I didn't miss any of them. So what we can do is go straight through the alley from where we found that memory of Ronan. There's a crime scene marker on the ground here to collect. You can remove these two doors, and this will bring us back to where we had started, as you can see here. And just for curiosity, again, just for the sake of orienting yourself, if I were to go left and I was to go through this gate, it would bring me to the other side of this, but because I cannot remove it, I have to go the long way around. I've also removed this door, but there was nothing in here. So that's all there is for the alley. So obviously we want to head on through towards the church and the beach. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get anything that I've missed over in the police station area. And after that, we will have pretty much looped completely around Salem and gotten all of the collectibles. So in this area here, we're going to head over to the left, and we can see another Eternal Flame collectible. This alley I do believe is a dead end, but I just want to make sure. Dead ends with nothing in them are very suspicious to me, as I've learned. And I do believe it's the same over here. There's nothing leaning up against here, but if we head on through this gate, there is an Eternal Flame collectible. And we do need to also take possession of this cat. And there is another collectible for us to grab by doing a bit of climbing and parkour. So just follow the path, again, very straightforward. There's only usually one set path that the cat can take, and the game is pretty good about directing you and showing you where that is. And here we have, once again, another Eternal Flame collectible. So once we've grabbed that, we can hop down, dispossess our cat. And I do believe that this just leads to a dead end with, once again, nothing in it, which seems incredibly suspicious. Thanks for the assist, kitty. So that's all there was for this little corner of this street. So now we can continue onwards. If you have a little bit of a fork in the road here, we can go towards the park, or we can head straight towards another little glowing area in the distance. There is one collectible here. This is a plaque with the witch trial history collectible on it. And then there is an alleyway, which is kind of hard to see actually, just beside these big garbage cans. And in here is another very well hidden drawing.
The things that ruin this town.
So let's go through the park now. This is the route that we originally took when we were going to the police station for the first time. And along the way too, if you've missed out on helping any of the ghosts, now would be the time to do that. That's considered kind of a side quest or a collectible, if you will, and that's a good idea to do just while you have the free time, because we are actually getting very close to the end of this game. So I just grabbed a couple of collectibles there in the first part of the park. And of course, this was where we found the ghost Brad, who needed our help. In the second area here, I passed by quite a few collectibles. There is another Eternal Flame collectible here. There is a removable wall next to that, and if you jump into here, you will see a note. And then finally, we have another plaque. And that pretty much brings us back to where we had started. At the beginning of this video, I decided to take a turn at the gas station rather than going straight through the park from the police station. So all that's left to do in the town of Salem is to get any collectibles that are on the beach right near the church. So a little bit of a roundabout way of perhaps collecting the items. And like I said, there are probably some better collectible videos out there, but I kind of wanted to do this in the order that I was comfortable in. And keeping in mind, of course, that we have picked up a couple of collectibles along the way. So if you've been watching this series and following along, then you may have seen those, but if you're just watching this video, you may have seen that I had picked up some collectibles already. So now I'm just trying to find my way back through the streets of Salem to get back to the beach area. Going through this alley. And again, if you hadn't collected collectibles before, there are some here. This is one of the Ronin's Life collectibles, for example, but we already got those. And now we are heading to the beach. We got the drawing that was in this alley earlier. But that's there just to show you. And we were not able to Actually, you know what? We were able to get through here. What am I saying? For some reason, I always think you need your teleporting ability to get through here, but you don't. You can actually just phase through the ghosts, or alternatively, you can use teleport if you'd like. But in this little nook on the way to the beach, we have a collectible here on the ground, another piece about our killer, and then on the back wall, we have another drawing.
Each secret treasure is observed.
There's only one more of those, and it's in one of our levels. So we should be wrapping that up pretty soon. Moving on to the beach here. If we head straight down the pier that I completely ignored last time, go all the way down to this collectible in the distance and pick that up, then remove this wall for another Eternal Flame collectible. Turn yourself around, reveal the ramp, and then finally we can grab our very last piece for that story. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are all of the Salem Town collectibles. Because we did get the other ones that were on the beach, the only remaining ones left were this notepad here next to the ghost on the beach that you can help. There is a plaque near the church that we can kind of see as we walk up. There is also a piece of Ronan's life here as well at the end of the pier. And this brings us to the next destination that we need to be going to for the story, which is a return trip to the church. So these are what my collectibles look like right now. In case anybody is wondering, we have finished off all of Ronan's life collectibles. We're only missing a few for our killer, a few for Julia. We have finished up Rex's and Baxter's collectibles. We are missing one of Cassandra's collectibles. We're missing one ghost drawing, one ghost story, which we will be doing in a later level. We're missing 3 plaques and 1 Witch Trials history piece. So we're only about 20 collectibles away to actually finishing all of this up, and we're also getting closer to the end of the game as well. We've only got a couple more levels to go. So that took me quite a while, but I feel like I was pretty thorough. I don't think I've missed anything. If I did miss something, I will definitely be sure to get it before we finish up the game. There is still time, so if you feel like you might have missed something, if I've missed something, you can go back after finishing the return to the church and explore through the streets of Salem with no worries about the point of no return or anything like that. So that was a nice little break from the story. I hope you guys enjoyed my searching and my fumbling around, and you look forward to actually getting back to investigating. I know I am. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.